So these are new LED headlights for like a Harley, and you can see they're very thick. And as far as like from the core support, the thickness is good, but these mounts versus the old headlight, you can see how conical it is. I kind of did a rough measurement, just the outside of the headlight, because it's a little thicker, and it is not gonna fit this. So I may go ahead and utilize my buddy who has access to a 3D printer and maybe make my own mounts and adjustment plate. So it's going to be a creative project, but well worth it to get these in there. Got a quick outline of where I want the battery. I centered it inside these raised grooves, and I'm going to be potentially cutting this longer and flanging it down where I can spot weld the new box from the underside. But here on these ridges, I'm gonna have to just butt weld all of it to the new metal and grind the new metal to match. Didn't really know how to best put a flange on that, so it's just gonna have to be what it is. I'll probably go as far down as I can without it being seen, and then eventually put a maybe a cover of some sort over it so it doesn't look like a battery. Looks like a covered battery. Yeah. Got a cardboard cutout of the battery box. I did mess up on it a little bit, fixed it on my pattern, and then still messed up. I put the flanges to where I'm going to weld it. I've done these flanges 90 degrees and weld it to the back side of this, but I left this long, 1/2 inch long, so I can catch the bead rolls on the top of the fender, and forgot to add 1 inch on this side. I added the 1/2 inch, but that was making up the slack on this end, so I caught it halfway through. But it'll work. I'll just have to kind of piece in that 1 or 2 of those. I'm going to go ahead and cut out the passenger side box as well, because it takes 2 batteries for it, and I won't put it in until potentially later when I get the battery, but it's a start. Finally got done bending and spot welding the first battery box up. The tabs ended up in the inside. I originally had them for the outside, but I took a little bit too much bite when putting them in the vise to bend them, and figured it was easier just to put them in the inside. The rest of it I did on the finger brake. I took some teeth out, so now I'm looking homely over there. Turned out nice. I can barely see it, but it does have a 1/2 inch of slope. I'm going to put that towards the front, so moisture and condensation or water can slope out that way. I'll probably put like a 1/2 inch forward in here, or some wood slanted, and then cut these holes out a little bit bigger where they'll drain a little better. It's just sitting in there for now, but I got both sides flanges bent over. I cut it longer, left it about 1 inch long. I really like this corner. I left it a little shorter on the flange to the side wall. This one's kind of overlapping, so all the other ones are going to overlap a little bit. I'm going to have to clean it up, I think, to make a nice miter look. That's where I messed up. This still needs to come up a little bit, but overall it's going to look pretty good. It'll set up about 3 inches, the battery will, so enough to get it underneath the hood and to kind of tuck it in there. She's sitting pretty. I've tacked it 3 different places and put a 1/2 inch spacer in the front. You can see how level it is. I left a 1/2 inch around all sides too, so I can, A, if the battery changes slightly in size for the next one, or also to put rods down there to mount the battery to the box. As far as height, I like it. It'll clear the hood, and it gives me a little bit more room to work with to put a cover potentially at this elevation in the future. So I like it. She's driving.
Really love the no doors look. Super tight.
Been putting some panels back on the truck, and man, this thing is tough. Just hard to align. So I think the body was a little tweaked when I started putting the floor in it, since it was rusted out here in the front. Might have dipped a little bit, and I should have addressed that before I even started doing the floorboard. So I actually shimmed it up probably a 1/4 inch in the front, and then took out the shims in the very back and tried to kind of tweak it, because I was out of adjustment on my lower door hinge, and I'm still within a 1/4 inch from this little piece here, but I think that's just going to have to be where it's at, because it's looking pretty straight as far as the body line, besides these random dips. I had to raise the front core support too to match raising the body in the center. So you can kind of see how straight it is. It's got a little swag in the middle, but for an old beater, I think it'll be pretty good. As far as the lower door, it's not sitting too bad. And then back here, once I get the latch on there, I think it will look pretty tight. I did have to remove the upper window track and the vent, since it was not allowing me to adjust it down here enough to clear. And I didn't really I wanted to adjust the body line and the door itself, and then worry about the frame later. I think I'm gonna have to go in and open up the holes, the adjustment holes. I guess that's the threaded in, so it's gonna be inside the door. Open those up a little bit where I can get some more adjustment out of it. These trucks would have been so much better if they would have just took a full door and put it in the back, versus these little half doors with the stick out hinges. I told Ellen, maybe I have to build one of those. Who knows? Who knows? Finally got both passenger and driver side doors on. This passenger side front door really fit perfect the first time. Didn't have to even mess with it. Except it is rusty underneath, and I did not even know how bad it was, to the point where this panel is completely off. The back door, however, it's latched. Both of these doors have their latching components still in them, but I don't have any adjustment forward, since I have these crappy hinges on the outside, and it's really tight tight enough. It just, yeah. So, anyone know how to adjust these crew cab doors? Remember, on this side, I stripped or broke off, twisted off all or 5 of these 6 bolts, and I had a heck of a time today. I was trying to figure out how to get them out. I got these 2 out by welding the nut on them again, but the bottom 3 I could not get out, so I actually had to cut a patch, cut a hole, and I've already welded it back up where I could access it, and then it had enough threads sticking out on the back side. I was able to heat it up again and put some vice grips on this side and get them out. Perfect. It's a little bit more in depth from yesterday's little story update. I got that back door situated better. You can see it needs to go in to the body a little bit. I see that little gap right there. I don't know if I can zoom in anymore. But as far as the body line, it matches the other side. It's got a slight dip past the main door, and then it kind of rises back up on the back door. So to get these hinges, or to move this forward, I did have to bend these hinges a tad forward, and I did try to heat it up. It wasn't working. Trying to burn my paint inside here, so I had to take the door off and put it on some wood and smacked it with a hammer. Seemed to do the job. Overall, the door fits good. The back gap is pretty tight, looks straight. So this side actually turned out really well. I didn't have to take any of the framework off and all that stuff. And like I said before, both of them have their latching components already in them. So didn't have to do much on this side. I mean, I'll still have to do a little work. I'm gonna try to weld up the bottom of this just for, you know, so it's not flopping around, because I'd like to keep the original door if all possible.
Hey guys, it's your boy Clarky Clark coming at you from the shop. So we got the good old Dodge here. I've been looking for my window regulator for the last 30 minutes so that I can regulate this window, which I don't think I have. So once I find the window regulator, I'll be able to find the window. And yesterday I made sure that the door could close. So now it closes. And now it opens also. I haven't worked in here at all. I decided that I might just keep it as is because that's just how it goes. And this is where the gas goes. In there. And this is from one time I got really mad and I grabbed this handle and I made a thumb dent right there. It's the perfect size of my thumb. And then, oh, here's my window regulator. There it is.
Nice.
So we're good. We got it. And now
You put new window
oh, I forgot
guides.
that we have to touch everything.
Oh, yeah.
This is my helper.
Got the wife out of the shop and got some work done. Oh boy. Accomplished tonight. So I did throw my back out at the beginning of the week, and I've been taking it easy, but while I was down, I ordered some new weather stripping for all the doors and windows. Here's the door seals and window seals. So it'll go all around here, weather stripping wise. But for the windows, I did get the wipers on, and then the 2 guides all around the window and clean the window up. So now I have a working window, which is nice. Works good. Didn't order this part. These were actually pretty good, but man, also can't remember if I just mentioned it or showed you guys that this wasn't fitting very well. I had a large gap up top and it was sitting up here. And so I think I got it straightened out. I just forced it in, not forced it, but bent this at a sharper degree and then tried to, I guess this at a sharper degree and this I expanded out. So just by putting in the vise and kind of cranking on it, and it turned out really good. I mean, it still had a little bit larger gap up here than back here, but heck, it's an old truck, man. So all the doors are pretty much aligned and looking where they're gonna be, looking pretty good. So time to get the rest of the doors done. And well, tonight I had to unkick the wife out of the shop and bring her back in for the fun to have help with this dude. Just like that, it has a truck bed. It's long. A lot longer than I imagined. So this bed, like I said, we picked up, and this one was actually rust free for the most part. Just not dent free. A lot of dents. But this is a 66 to 71 bed, I think. 65, 71, somewhere in there. And you can see the wheelbase isn't lined up. So I have to section it like 6 inches. And you can see this needs to come up a little bit, but I'll probably just cut the front out and then push this back where I need it. So you can see the body line. I probably have 6 inches to go to hit that body line, but I don't think I probably have 4 or less here. So not only do I have to section the front, but I got to raise this floor up somehow. Either put a new floor in it from a later model truck, or I might make it like a box cab flatbed where I put either plate or just a heavier metal, preferably with some sort of bead to give it a little bit more strength. But that means like the tailgate won't match the height probably, so that's just something I'm gonna have to deal with. Also, while I'm at it, when I cut that front down, I may just go ahead and cut the back off around 6 inches too. And this will end up being like a 7-foot bed, so like a medium bed instead of a 8-foot bed. Short bed 6 foot. So I think it'll look a lot better with a medium sized bed than the long 8-footers. But that's it for tonight. See ya! So I need to brace the body or the truck bed as much as possible. So I made this skeleton frame here, and I spent all day working on it. It's not the best. As you can see, I added a 2x4 because when I lifted off just the center, which I knew it was going to bend, but it bent too much for me to be comfortable about it. This is the metal I used for the endoskeleton for the cab, so I tried to use what I had left, and I should have, or if I had enough metal, went clear back here and made a truss that way. And also I messed up and welded it on top, so I wasn't very comfortable with that. So this will work. I think this will hold it in place while I cut up I worked on the house yesterday, kind of postponing it for now because my nail gun is broken. I'm ordering a part for it. Got the dirt bike back running, got the Datsun back running, so we're good to go there. I think I'm just gonna go ahead and cut this sucker up I decided that I need 6 inches off from the front. So this is actually 5.5 because I'm going to leave it a 1/2 inch to roll it back over when I get it cut off. So I'm just going to whack this whole front off, the floor off, where I can set it down on the actual frame and see what I need to do from there as far as floor raising and such. But also I want to see if the wheel well will line up at that point. So see you there. The front is free, which was pretty heavy. Had to readjust my rigging, which I knew was going to come, but the side panels are completely loose now since they weren't braced on the bottom there or there on the whole side. So, but I think I'm gonna check to see if the wheel well will fit. If only I could just snap my fingers. Oh yeah. So I still got a 1/2 inch to go coming up forward, but I can't really tell exactly. It looks like it needs to go forward. So I'm gonna have to do some more adjusting just to get it to see where I kind of want it. It's got this long swoop in the back, but the actual looks like it should be up front, but I think I'm gonna match the swoop. So I still got maybe 1/2 inch to go forward. Also the bottom. So I think it should be good. So you can see where the thing is sitting relative to the body line. What you can't see though is, I don't know if I can show you, but I mean, I can knock that off. But the fuel tank, the support would be going there. There's the fuel pump. I mean, it's tight. But I could use it. The floor is solid, but it's pretty warped. It's hard to tell just through a camera, but it's sagged, you know, it doesn't look the best, but it is functional. So what do you guys think? Should I just go ahead and body lift this sucker or cut the floor out, and which I might do anyway. So I've got the bed at the front sitting about right where it needs to be. You see that body line there. You see how tilted. Probably needs to go 3 inches in the back at least. I spent the last couple hours cutting out the floor. So it was hitting right there where that big dent was, which was protruded like 4 inches. So I'm like, you know what, I'm just gonna get rid of this thing and use something else in the future. And I have some thick gauge plate. Maybe I'll share a screenshot on here to show you guys, but it's like 8 inches strips, 8 foot long. And so I'd have to have like 5 or 6 of them to make it the full width. But so yeah, I'm down hitting on the frame right there and I'm just about clear. So I think what I can do is raise this up maybe even a 1/2 inch, because I'm sitting on metal right here. So really I just need enough clearance to get that. So 1/2 inch in the front and do a 1/2 inch body lift. Then lower this down, because this frame raises right there. So I may have to do shorter structure, maybe 1 inch square tubing, add more braces along here. And that metal I'm looking at is going to be really, really strong. So I think it should work. But this floor structure, it had 2 structure pieces right here, and they were just spot welded literally to the side. So there wasn't really much support there. They were sitting on the frame, so that's what was holding it. But anyway, made some good progress today.